Welcome back, friends. This is my second take because sometimes these take several takes. Just to start off, I've been reading through the responses you guys have been writing in, and I do want to start by saying there are a few people that are really close. Y'all are so figuring it out. So I am getting immense entertainment out of reading y'all's responses and watching you start to put the pieces together. There are some people who are still a little bit struggling, and I just want to say one word of encouragement and motivation. One, this isn't for a grade. It doesn't matter if you get it right or wrong. I don't care. Right? You don't need to pass. You don't need to get 100. So just have fun with it and don't stress, okay? If you keep going, if you press on, it will start to kind of come together. Each one, I'm trying to give you just a little bit more. So hang in there, stick with me. I won't let you go hungry, baby birds. Now, this week we're talking about using text evidence. And the most common way that we use text evidence, it's a common way, is when we're writing short answer responses or constructed responses. Your teachers might have called them different things. There's two methods I'm aware of that teachers in our district use, and I'm going to mention those briefly, and then I'm going to go rogue and propose a different one. Hear me out. All right, so some teachers used RACE. So if you had my class this year, we did RACE. That's restate, answer, cite, explain. The issue I had with that one was by the end of the year, I still had a bunch of people who, to restate the question, copied it down verbatim, including the question mark. And so I feel like the word restate was a little bit of a speed bump for some people, because I get it, restate does literally mean restate it, right? So that was a tricky point. And then a lot of the other teachers in the district used a method called PEEL, and that's I've heard two different ways. There's point, evidence, explain, link, and I've also seen paraphrase, evidence, explain, and link. The thing I am hung up on that is that I feel like there's a lot of people that can get confused about what the link part of it is. So, here's what I'm proposing. What about PACE? Paraphrase, answer, cite, explain. Here's why I like it. It keeps a lot of the basic structure that all the methods keep. I think the paraphrase wording, it will help some people understand really what to do to get their answer started, and then getting rid of that link part, because I think that can be upheld in explain. So let's talk about what it means to write a PACE response. Pace yourself. A well-written constructed response is carefully thought out, so you should pace yourself. All kidding aside. For one thing, I see a lot of people write responses to questions with yes or no as the beginning. And so let me say one thing. If you're being asked to write a response to something and it does have a yes or no question, do not start with yes or no. Nope. Because if the question isn't there and someone is only reading your response, then all they have to go off of is yes, because that car is really fast. What car? And why? Yes, what? And what does a car have to do with it? What are we even talking about right now? If you're feeling that way, that's because that's a really weak response. Now, if the question were something like, sorry, I'm in Disney mode because of my kids. If the questioning were something like, will Lightning McQueen win the Piston Cup? Now, with the question, it makes a little bit more sense. Yes, because the car is really fast. But what if we paraphrase the question first? Lightning McQueen will win the Piston Cup. So instead of just saying yes, it asked, will he win the Piston Cup? So I'm going to paraphrase. Lightning McQueen will win the Piston Cup. I paraphrased the question and I made my point. I stated my argument that he is going to win, right? Then we can cite text evidence. So Lightning McQueen will win the Piston Cup. We know this because in scene 14, he finally learns to cut the corners on a dirt track like a pro. Something like that. How are we going to explain that? Because what if you've never seen Cars before? What if you have no idea what I'm talking about and you think I've lost my mind? Right? So I need to make sure my reader knows what's going on. In the movie Cars, Lightning McQueen will win the Piston Cup. We know this because in scene 24, he finally succeeds in learning how to take a corner on a dirt track. With the dirt track being the ultimate leveling of the playing field on the racetrack or something like that, we know that if he can make that turn, he can win the race. That's way better than, yes, because his car is really fast, right? So pace. Paraphrase, answer, cite, explain. Oh, and I already skipped to explain. So when you explain, you need to make a connection to the evidence, or make a connection from the evidence to the topic sentence of your paragraph or your response. You're making a connection of your evidence to your thesis or your argument or your answer or your point. Whatever it is, you need to finish that paragraph by tying off all the loose ends and saying, ta-da! Here is your well-constructed response in a beautiful little gift, right? Okay. Next week, we're going to get into summarizing and paraphrasing. These are closely related, and so I am considering possibly posting that today too. But I like to space them out because I like to make y'all wait to get more clues. So, start by writing your short answer responses. Focus on those 4 steps: paraphrase, answer, cite, explain. Okay? I'm less concerned with how perfectly written and perfectly spelled and punctuated and all of that your responses are right now than I am about seeing you keep all of those elements in to have a strong response. If you can form a strong response, we can fix all the other stuff later. I love you guys. I'm proud of you. You'll be so happy. This second take is only 8.5 minutes long because my last one was real long. All right. Take care of yourselves. Go enjoy some time outside today. It's very pretty. Do something to make someone else in your life or in your world feel more welcome today. And that's it. Go read a book. All right. Bye, guys.